Hello, all. Welcome back to another edition of the Blue Jay Way podcast. Chris May, Jack Ryan with you, as always, taking you through the week that was the recent few series here from the Toronto Blue Jays. And Jack, it didn't start well. The week did not start great for the Toronto Blue Jays, but it ended in quite a historic sweep of the Boston Red Sox here. We'll get into that, a little tease for the people for what we got coming on later. But Jack, why don't we start here? The Jays took on the Orioles and the Boston Red Sox. Big AL East week, a division that obviously, well, the Jays division, and they had struggled mightily this season to win games within their division. So it was a big week, honestly, and they had the Baltimore Orioles coming into Rogers Center for a 4-game set, and then they headed to Fenway, where they were swept in a 4-game series earlier this season against the Red Sox, and the Jays started the week 5.5 games back of the Baltimore Orioles for the top spot in the AL East.
Mm-hmm.
They had them at Rogers Center for 4 games. So if you sweep the series, you're a game and a half back of the Baltimore Orioles for the division lead. Depending on what the Tampa Bay Rays did, who knows? They're also ahead of the Jays at the time that series started. But Jack, it didn't go to plan. The Orioles, in fact, distanced themselves from the Toronto Blue Jays because, I feel like we have to give credit to the Orioles because they've had a lot of years of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
They're a damn good team. And they make you work. They do not give up easy outs at
they
the
don't.
plate. They have good approaches. They're a good hitting team, and they're a clutch team,
Yes.
is what I've found. And the Jays, throughout the Orioles series and even before that, have not been a clutch team.
And no.
So yeah, let's get into it. Game 1, Chris Bassett on the mound. O's get to him pretty much immediately. They jumped out to a 3-0 lead. I think Ryan Mountcastle, man. I'm just telling you guys right now, if you dabble in sports betting, if you're not betting Ryan Mountcastle every time he plays the Toronto Blue Jays, you're missing out on the tip of the century. The play of the century is Ryan Mountcastle. You pound him for total bases, RBIs, even home runs. Who knows when he's playing the Toronto Blue Jays? Because he starts it off in Ryan Mountcastle fashion with a little 2-run double. Gunnar Henderson, shout out Gunnar. He's an exciting young player. He went deep, and the Jays really just couldn't battle back. Chris Bassett battled his ass off. He threw the most pitches he's thrown in a start this season, and it just continues a trend up to this point for the Jays, where if they fall behind, you don't really feel confident in them to hit their way back into games. And obviously the Orioles have probably one of the scariest back ends of the bullpen you can have, and if you're playing them, it reminds me of the Kansas City Royals, Jack, from their World Series days when you're playing a 7-inning game against these teams, because when they have their high leverage guys coming out of the pen, you're not doing much about it.
Yeah, it was.
Fact,
yeah,
it's
PTSD. It's PTSD, man. Because you mentioned the Royals, they had Kelvin Herrera, Wade Davis, and Greg Holland, and then the year after that, it was like if they had a 1-run lead, good luck. You're not doing anything against them. But Yennier Cano and Felix Bautista have been lights out. Both were all-stars this year, rightfully so. Yennier Cano's kind of tapered off and come back down to earth, but Felix Bautista, man, isn't it his Ks per nine up around 18 or 19 or something ludicrous like that this year?
I think it's at 20 now. I think he hit 20 recently in this series. And they played against the Mets, where they swept. They just don't lose.
No,
the Jays aren't getting much help from teams playing the O's, but like I said, the Orioles are there for a reason, and
they're
good.
They're legit
for them to fall off, but they're good enough to stay right where they are and keep picking up wins. And this is where we're getting to this point in the season where having that lead going into the 6th, 7th inning means everything.
Yes, it does.
If you're the manager that can dictate the way you roll out your bullpen, it's a
quick little update here. Varsho. Oh no, Biggio homers to center.
Biggio home running yards. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it out of Gavin. Anyways, we're taping this as the Jays are playing the first game in Cleveland in the evening here. We'll have a full recap of that series next week.
Yep.
Along with the Jose Bautista Cubs series, which is cool. So we'll have that for you guys next week. Jays just took a 2-run bomb?
2-run bomb. Varsho scored on the home run as well.
Perfect.
Yep.
So 2-0 Jays at the moment. But yeah, like that's what I'm saying is as you get closer to October and the Jays, they have this elite bullpen now. They have this elite depth out there, a lot of options.
Yes.
You got to approach these games like they're 6, 7 inning games because you hand it off to those guys in the pen. They're filthy, and we saw some of that in this Baltimore series as well. So we will get more into the Jays bullpen as we go through this Orioles series. But the big news, obviously, from Game 1 here, aside from the Jays kind of still stinking, and we touched on it last episode, is obviously Bo Bichette. Now we know more. I know last episode we were all stressed the whole time about waiting for his update. So it's it was basically best case scenario for Bo with the Jays.
Yeah,
and there was a certain roster move made because of this injury that also made a big impact. So you could say it's best case scenario in a couple of ways. Obviously, it's not. When your starting shortstop, one of the best headers in the American League, goes down. But he was placed on the 10-day IL with, patellar tendonitis.
So the tendon, the nocivial ligament, the knee, basically the tendon goes over your patella, your kneecap is strained, essentially.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound nice.
Sense. Yeah, it's more of a kneecap thing. He jammed it. But no one really knows. There's no time frame. It could be a month. It could be the 10 days.
I don't want him back unless he's 100% healthy, because why risk another injury and fuck your career up for the rest of the time you're in the majors versus one playoff run? I mean, we want a World Series. We want a playoff run, but Bo Bichette's an elite talent that you can't fuck around with. You can't be like, how do you feel? I'm at 85%. All right, kid, get out there and play every single game the rest of the year. No. If he has to take if they're looking at bringing him back by the end of the month, by the end of August for September, but the doctors are like, maybe he should sit out for another 7 days.
Slow play.
So, dude, this month, we don't really need Bo this month. I mean, we play the Rockies, we play the Athletics, we play some really easy teams that we should beat. Granted, we've been saying that all year about teams the Jays should beat, but hey, theoretically, Bo missing August is the best case scenario. If this isn't just 10 days.
Absolutely. And the Jays, they did come up with a quick kind of contingency plan for his injury, which we didn't touch on because it broke a couple hours after we stopped recording. It's Paul DeJong, traded to the Jays from the St. Louis Cardinals for Sam Roberts and Adam Kloffenstein, a couple of minor league arms. A solid backup plan, really. I mean, we haven't mentioned his name yet because we're saving it for the Boston series, but a certain someone came up and might take some playing time even from DeJong.
A certain mustached fiend.
Absolutely. And that's going to be the second half of this episode. Is basically going to be about him. The Jays now have a situation where Paul DeJong might get pushed to the bench when Bichette returns. However, he's a great option, especially defensively, while Bo is on the injured list. And, he hasn't hit much since he's came to the Jays. It's been about 6 games now.
He has one hit, I think, in his first 12 or 15 at-bats. So, I mean, but
at this point, you're not asked to be a force offensively. Just, play the position well. He can do that. And he hits lefties well. That's a plus. The Jays haven't done that this season. So he offers a good, a solid just kind of stopgap, and then could come off the bench and get spot starts and just play good defense. So I like the move. It was a guy we mentioned that the Jays maybe will look at the deadline, and it came true a couple hours later. So he actually made his debut and gave 2 of the Orioles series. I think game 1 is wrapped here. And Young didn't do much, but Hyunjin Ryu actually started this game. His first start in 14 months after Tommy John surgery. It's great to see him back. You kind of forgot about him for a while there last season and the beginning of the season. You kind of forgot he was still around. But 420 days, that's quite the long stretch. And to be honest, Jack, nothing against Hyunjin Ryu, but it was his first start in 420 days, and you can't even really blame the guy. That's a tough lineup to face in your first start back, and
you get thrown to the wolves immediately. You get thrown to the best team in the American League, and he went 5 innings, gave up 9 hits, which it is the Orioles, but that's a lot of hits. Just 4 earned runs though, and he had 3 strikeouts and just 1 walk. So he had his curveball working. He was working the changeup inside and out to lefties and righties. So it looked like vintage Hyunjin Ryu. But again, first start back, you're expecting a lot from this guy when a lot of people, I saw Twitter, people were like, why is Ryu in the starting rotation? Why? I'm like, guys, cut him some fucking slack, would you? Yeah. He's just come back off of the injured list from Tommy John surgery, for God's sake. And for the I know we're not talking about the Guardian series, but through the first 4 innings before he went down, spoiler alert, by the way, for anyone who's actually watching the game, he had no hit, 4 innings of no hit ball. So
he looked good tonight.
He looked great. Granted, Cleveland's not a good team right now, but whatever.
Yeah. Not the heaviest hitting team. No Orioles.
No, definitely not. Yeah. No.
Yeah, he went, you went through the line. It was nothing that, would blow you away and say, wow, Reeves back. But, I think giving at this point in the season, having that 6-man rotation for just a little bit longer, giving guys some rest for the stretch run, it can't hurt. And there'll be good days and bad days with Ryu. There were before his injury. It's all about location with him, and the velocity is not overpowering.
It's never been a factor. He's always been around 91, 92 max.
There's going to be good days and bad days, but we should cut him some slack on this one because that's a long, long time to be out and a tough lineup to face. So the Jays lost 13-3. A couple other things here. Jordan Hicks made his Blue Jays debut in this one. Didn't go great, but he hadn't pitched in a really long time. And
15 games he hadn't pitched in or something like that.
We'll get into his second appearance and his third appearance, which have been much, much better. But the adjustment can be a lot for these guys, moving teams, moving cities, getting comfortable, and then coming off of such a long period of rest. He probably didn't feel anywhere close to as loose as he's felt, this season and probably in his next couple of appearances. The one final thing from this one is George Springer. We're talking about him for the wrong reason, but he extended his streak of hitless of at bats without a hit to 34, which is pretty incredible. I mean, for a guy that's that talented and that savvy of a veteran hitter, I guess there was some bad luck involved. There was some bad approach. But
yeah, I mean, he also hit a few balls in the final game of this series against the Orioles that were all over 98 miles an hour, and they just found a glove. Which, you got to be lucky to be good half the time in baseball anyway. Yeah,
it is baseball.
Yeah, and when we get to the Boston series, you'll see how much that it's baseball statement actually makes sense because the point is and also quick shout out to a guy who I don't want to see back on the main roster. Come September and October. Nate Pearson giving up a grand slam to Anthony Santander after walking 3 straight batters.
I thought Pearson would be traded 100%.
He was the name that I said it on the TikTok. I was like, fucking every team. I think there was 7 or 8 teams that were phoning up Ross Atkins about a trade possibly for Nate Pearson. I'm like, you had the opportunity and you didn't do it.
Getting a change of scenery time.
Yeah, he's 27 years old. He's not a rookie anymore. He's been around for a minute. Maybe it's time to move on from him and bring in someone who's more established. But hey, I like the bullpen that they've constructed now without him, with Jordan Hicks. And it's a shame because Romano's still on the IL. Trevor Richards, I believe in this game, that was his last appearance before he went on the IL with a neck strain or neck stiffness, I believe is what they called it. So, getting those guys back is going to be huge. But
when they have their full bullpen available, one of the best in the league.
Also, we still got Chad Green coming back at some point. We don't know when, but he'll be back or be up here for the first time.
Yeah, that's another one like Bo. I'm cool with slow playing.
Yeah.
Make sure he's feeling 150% before you get him into a game. Also coming off Tommy John. But yeah, that game was an absolute dud. That game sucked. But some little storylines coming out of it.
Yeah.
Third game, the only game of the series the Jays won as they dropped 3 out of 4. And the main reason they won is Yusei Kikuchi, man. I mean,
Cy Young, baby.
Got to shout out this guy. From where he came from, ending last season, not even being on the playoff roster, to becoming one of the more consistent, reliable pitchers for the Jays this season. The stopper in this series, Kikuchi, really, because the Jays had lost 4 in a row coming into this one, so they needed a performance like this. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, huge. 3 strikeouts. He was just battling all night, man. And he was fired up. He was doing his leg kick, his fist pumps. There's really nothing quite like watching Yusei on a good day. Just deal out there.
Yeah, and you got to give huge amounts of credit to his success and just overall the starting rotation. I mean, Pete Walker he had that unfortunate situation in the spring, getting a DUI, but he's really turned this pitching staff into, I'd argue, top 5, maybe even top 3, at least in the American League, maybe in all of baseball. But like since June 20th, I saw a graphic up in the pregame today, and they brought it back up on the actual broadcast. The Jays since June 20th are first in WAR, first in FIP, first in ERA, and 4th in Ks per 9 or something among all MLB starting pitching staffs, which is for all pitching, period. That's fucking insane, dude.
Well, yeah, the dude at the trade deadline, rotation was never mentioned. A starter was really never mentioned because these guys are going, man. These guys are good, and they've been good. They've been the strong point of the team. If you're looking at holes in the team to address at a trade deadline, the rotation was not it. No. So it's great. It was this start from Kikuchi, I thought was really, really, really impressive. Maybe the most impressive I've seen from him since he's been in Toronto Blue Jay, and it was really, 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 really needed.
His run that he gave up, it wasn't a solo home run, was it? Or was it? I can't remember. But I know that prior to that, it was 4 or 5 straight starts. This might have been the 5th if it wasn't off a home run where he hadn't given up a home run, which for him is insanely good. Like he was leading the league before 5 starts ago or 4 starts ago in home runs given up as a starter. Yeah. So he was absolutely tremendous in this one. And Jimmy Garcia, who I was really low on at the beginning of throughout the start of the season, he's turned the corner back to what we're expecting from him, and he's shutting the door on everybody.
Yeah, and then this was a good Hicks appearance. Some pretty filthy stuff, dude. 101 dotted to Santander right at the top of the zone. Unbelievable. So shout out him. Eric Swanson too, ending off the game with a pick off of Jordan Westberg, was it?
Yeah, Jordan Westberg. Yeah, that was filthy, man.
If you're Jordan Westberg, man, what the hell are you doing, dude? You're literally you played 20 games. Anyways, that's a rookie mistake, and he was a rookie, so I guess that's where the saying comes from. But that's not that. Like the Orioles, like if they had 2 guys on base at the tying run at the plate, I'm terrified. So that's a big out. Like. That out cannot be understated. That was a big one. And you know what I say, Jack? If you can't hit with runners in scoring position, get hit with runners in scoring position, because the Jays basically won this game on a string of hit by pitch, error. They didn't really do anything offensively, but they still ended up winning because Shintaro Fujinami fell apart and Jorge Mateo fell apart as well a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, but to start the scoring, to have the game tied about 1, Springer snapped that.
Yeah. 0 for 35 streak.
35, and you thought his firstborn child got accepted to Harvard or something when you saw
tied a franchise record for most offers in a row.
Yeah, I was gonna let him off the hook with that one because he didn't break it. I was just gonna leave it at just a cool 0 for 35. Not even close to the longest streak in franchise history. No, it was the longest, in fact. And just the look on his face, and Kiermaier coming out and giving him a big old hug after he did it. You would actually think that he just
hit his first major league,
won the lottery, like won the 50-50 jackpot at the Jays game, but no. He just got a bloop single up the middle. But that was funny and good for Springer because he's been hitting again a little bit since he broke the streak. So the O's really. And the O's haven't done this year, is give away wins or lose games, basically, for the other team, but they did in this one. And the Jays just took advantage and shut it down. So good win there. This game 4, was probably the shittiest game I've seen all year from the Jays. Like nothing happening.
Oh, just dead inside.
Just nothing happening, dude. Like I don't even know if they lost 6-1. Gausman, mediocre start. I mean, fuck, we hold him to such a high regard. Like it was a pretty good start. I mean, he didn't go very long into the game. Gave up 8 hits over 4 1/3. 6 Ks, so not his best.
He has a blowout or a bad start like once every 7 or 8 times out. Like it's really
bad. It's just I don't know if the 6-man rotation is kind of throwing him off a bit. I know he's a guy who loves his every 5 days.
I know he likes his every extra day off, but I think that because he's been so used to going every 5 days, his body's just used to it. So now he gets that extra day's rest. He's like, I'm all out of sorts now. Like, I'm not ready to go.
It'll be interesting to see how he does against the Guardians.
Hey, does he get the ball tomorrow? I think he does. No.
So.
Or wait.
No, it's
Kikuchi. It's Kikuchi and then Gauze, and then it'll be Barrios, I guess, would be the or Bassett, maybe. I don't know. This whole pitching staff's all out of whack.
Yeah. I think it's Barrios before Bat. Anyways, who knows? We'll figure that out when we get there. But yeah, I don't know. This game just kind of rattled me. I was like, man, they just can't come through. And the Orioles just kept adding those kind of little add-on runs, and it was the last we saw of Thomas Hatch, who was DFA'd and claimed by the Pirates. So see you, Thomas. I wish him nothing but the best. He'll definitely get more of an opportunity there with the Pirates, which is good for him. And then he's dropped 3 of 4. The Orioles, I think, what were they? 7.5 games after this one?
Yeah, Kevin Biggio just made a huge double play. I'm watching. I got it on my phone right next to me.
I know. I'm like, I heard it. I feel like this isn't good podcasting.
Yeah. Fuck. Whatever. We're a Jays podcast. That's what we do. Yeah, Mays is fired up.
The Biggio game. But yes, let's get in from the Biggio game to the Davis Schneider
era. Series. The era of Davis Schneider. The era of the mustache.
I didn't know who Davis Schneider was.
Chris, nobody knew who Davis Schneider was.
Probably about 10 years ago, or not 10 years ago, God. 10 days ago, when Chris Black, I think he's the producer for Sportsnet of the Jays games, he posted a thread of or a little thing, a nugget about how hot this kid, Davis Schneider, was in AAA. And I'm like, wow.
Shout out to Chris Black, man. That guy is on top of every stat.
Yeah. If you guys need a good Jays Twitter follow, he's really dialed in. He literally feeds the broadcast the stats, I'm pretty sure.
He does.
Compiles all this stuff. That's his job. So he's obviously a pro at it, and he's great on Twitter. But yeah, shout out him. And that's the first time I heard of him. And lo and behold, he's up with the big club this past Friday in Fenway Park.
Didn't he have, sorry to cut you off, didn't he have something like 81 walks in 75 games in AAA or something insane?
I'm not sure the exact number, but you could see it. He's got a great eye.
Yeah,
you could see it in the Jays series, or in the Boston Red Sox series. Pardon me. And yeah, he's in the lineup, on Friday night for his major league debut. Let's just start with him in this game because holy crap, Jack! His first major league at bat, he comes up, rocking the mustache, rocking the little debut patch on his jersey, and James Paxton just throws him an absolute hanger. And he just cranks it, like, out of Fenway Park almost. Like, it's really a storybook moment, and it was super cool to see. I mean, the Jays needed this. The Jays needed, after that Baltimore series, Chris Bassett comes out and said this is embarrassing. They needed something to rally around, and they needed a guy in a moment and just kind of a boost.
Yeah, did you see what Don Mattingly said as well?
Yeah, that was so weird, dude. Like, yeah,
dude. Well, here's what he said. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, so don't quote me. But essentially, what he said was, every team struggles with their power hitting and whatever, but maybe we're just not a powerful team anymore. Maybe we just need to have the small ball approach. Maybe we can't hit the long ball when it matters. Which
is true.
For the most part this season, there hasn't been a clutch home run unless it's been Danny Jansen. Let's be honest about this.
Kevin Biggio saved the season against the Twins a couple months ago. But...
yeah, and then he just did it again tonight, apparently. But the timely home run hasn't come for the Jays much at all this season.
Years past too, yeah.
And there are people on two sides of two camps about this on either side of the fence. One of them is saying, "Why the hell would you say that as the bench coach of this team? Are you trying to drag your team down?" I'm in the other camp, which is he's holding his players accountable for lack of firepower because there's guys in this lineup. Paul DeJong has hit 30 home runs before. Bo Bichette has hit 30 home runs before, or 25 plus. Vladdy's hit fucking almost 50. Chapman's hit 30. Yeah. He hit 48. Yeah. So Chapman's hit 30. Springer's hit 30. Like, there are guys on this team that are not producing home runs like they should be or like they can. So my whole thing was, I think he's saying it to light a fire under their ass and be like, hey guys, get your shit together. Start being the team we know you can be. And two, it might be reverse psychology a little bit.
I mean, the way I saw it, he's just telling the truth.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we're not hitting for much power this year. We got to score small ball runs. Like, well, why are you expecting us to hit 50 home runs? Like every guy, like, the Jays fans this season have been a little wild.
Yeah, us included, me more than you, but
it has been a frustrating year. Like you can't, it's been up and down. There's been no sustained stretch of success. Yeah. And this podcast we're doing right now depicts that perfectly. Because it was a terrible series against the Orioles, a real opportunity they let slip away, but then nothing could have gone better in the Boston series. It's just so strange. So hopefully now we can, continue and keep the ball rolling here, because it really is, as long as you get in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. As long as you're playing good baseball heading into October, that's all that matters, as long as you get in. So there's plenty of time, people. And yes, the Jays, as of right now, on the holiday Monday, there was a lot to be happy about. So let's get into it, Jack. Obviously, the Davis Schneider first home run, first at bat. I don't know what more you can say. That's just a moment.
Yeah, fourth Jay in team history to home run his first major league at bat since J.P. Arriansevia on, I believe it was today in 2010, or maybe it was August. It was like August 10th, or I saw it either 10th or 7th. I can't remember which one, but yeah. Like it's been it's been 13 years.
Yeah, no, I mean, recently, like the Jays haven't had many guys. Well, Bo was a big one who came up and had immediate success.
Yes.
There's really hasn't been a rookie for the Jays that's came out of nowhere and hit the ground running.
Well, yeah, Bo's really the only guy. Cavan had a good 2019.
Like he was expected to be great.
Yes.
He was expected to be a really, really good player. David Schneider, good Lord, might as well be a created player. Like I don't even.
28th round pick, by the way.
Yeah, a round that doesn't even exist anymore. Out of high school for
New Jersey,
not to go to college and grind it out in pro ball, and it worked out for him, man. And he didn't stop there. But let's switch back from that incredible moment to Alek Manoah, because Alek Manoah had a really, really good start in this one. His best start probably of the entire season, Jack. Wouldn't you say?
100%, Chris. 6 2/3, 6 hits, just 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. And his slider was sliding. It was doing what we're used to seeing it do. Tight spin, tight rotation, 82 to 83. But it's throwing it at the bottom of the zone, letting it sweep across against righties or break in on the back foot against lefties. That's exactly what Alek Manoah has done in the past and finally is starting to do again this year. And if this means, again, I'm really hesitant to say it because I've thought it and then it's completely come back to bite me in the ass. If Alek Manoah can make this his turning point, watch out, because now we have 5 legitimate starters again. Like Jose Barrios has been great this year. We'll get to talking more about him, but there's literally like 1 in every 4 starts is a bad start. And it's interchangeable between all 5 guys, now 6.
Yeah. And you can live with that. Absolutely. Yeah. And I like he's starting to get his flair back. He's starting to get his competitive fire back a little bit too. Like you see those starts early in the year before he got sent down, and there was like a lost puppy dog look to him. Like he was just not feeling right.
There was no hope behind his eyes at all.
Yeah, like he just knew he was struggling and there was nothing he could really do to get out of it. And you see John Schneider come up in the 7th there. And Manoah's like, no, like, please no. And Schneider's like, well, obviously I got to take you out here. But Manoah's like begging to have another batter. And that's the Manoah we know. Those were the mannerisms we were used to, that confidence that I think propelled him throughout his entire baseball career. He had that.
He's got very, very John Lackey-esque. Like, do you remember the 2013 World Series against the Cardinals and the Red Sox played them? And John Lackey said, no, this is my fucking guy. This is my fucking guy. And
I mean, Manoah's not at a John Lackey level of veteran experience where he can probably talk to a manager like that, but you at least appreciate him wanting to stay and believing in himself because he didn't have that. And so that's a good time as well, I thought. Should we stick with pitching now? Let's wrap up pitching. Jordan Hicks, not to save. Wicked stuff. The kid, the guy is wicked, man. It was his first save with the Jays. Quick inning, easy inning. Actually, it wasn't a save. Sorry, 4-run lead.
Well, I think a save is technically 4 runs.
Oh, 4? I thought it was 3. Okay.
I think it's 4 or less.
We'll count it here on the pod. The kid. I know he's filthy. I mean, the slider he had to end the game was just unfair.
What can you do against it? It's coming at 89. It's got 16 inches of break. Like you can't do anything with it.
Without Bo Bichette in the lineup too, the Jays kind of teed off here. James Paxton, who's been really good this year. Merrifield, first pitch of the game goes deep. Vladdy goes deep 2 batters later. And then obviously the Schneider stuff just took over. 2 for 5 in his debut with the incredible mustache and the shades and a home run in his first career at bat. That is a moment that he will always remember. And a lot of Jays fans will remember that too. So that was really cool. In a historic park like Fenway, I can't imagine anything being better.
No.
So yeah, great game. Kind of the Jays have had a tendency this season to not really make games easy at the end when they're leading. But this was a rare one where it was just a clean, after getting a lead, just a clean end to the game. Yeah. Game 2, jacked. Like anyway, yeah, this was ridiculous. The Jays squeak out a 5-4 win, and we'll take you through how they got there. Jose Barrios was really, really good. I think he threw one bad pitch in this entire outing, and it cost him.
It wasn't even bad. That's the thing, man. It wasn't even bad. It was that he threw it so many times in a row.
That's the thing. Nevers was tracking that, and he's a guy that can go down there and scoop a breaking ball out of the dirt.
Guy might as well be swinging a shovel because he literally lives for those breaking balls that are near his fucking ankles. He'll just go down and dig it out, and he'll golf it. You
can see by the swing that he was ready for that.
Barrios' breaking ball, his slurve, or slide, it's a slurve, I think, because it only goes around 82, right? That's what StatCast counts it as. But it's disgusting. But when you see it over and over and over and over again for the 4th time, as good of a hitter as Rafael Devers is, he's going to somehow make contact. And unfortunately, it led to a 3-run home run. But other than that, he was dominant.
I'm telling you, he was really good. I don't think that one bad pitch should take away from a really, really good outing. 6 strikeouts, no walks, 5 2/3. And a ballsy, I thought this was maybe Schneider's best managed game.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
He did a good job here. And I know we give Schneider a lot of shit. The fan base does for some reason. I mean, the poor guy, he's just trying to do his best. And
I've been critical of him. I've questioned a lot of moves.
It's fair. He's a young, inexperienced compared to a lot of managers out there. He's pretty inexperienced, and there have been some questionable decisions this season. But I thought this game in particular was a good job by John Schneider in managing the bullpen. And yes, I think he also pinch hit Kevin Kiermaier, which ended up paying off as well.
Yeah, but you're talking about the Genesis Cabrera move.
Yes, the big move was bringing in Genesis Cabrera, who was set to face Tristan Casas. This was an interesting little chess match too. Casas been incredible the past month, like one of the best hitters in baseball. And bringing in Cabrera results in Alex Cora pulling Casas for Rob Refsnyder, who he does hit lefties well, but he's nowhere near the overall hitter that Tristan Casas has become here. So that ends up benefiting the Jays. And there was another big spot where Casas would have came up, I think in the 9th, that he wasn't there for.
And then it went to I think it was their shortstop Pablo Reyes or whatever who took over his spot because they moved Yu Chang to first to play where Casas was, right? Yeah, so great job by.
And Cabrera strikes out Refsnyder and gets out of a jam, which is money. I mean, Genesis has been incredible for the Jays, and I can't believe that they got him for basically free because he really does a lot for the bullpen. And having that second lefty that you could use in a spot like that and then still have Mesa for the higher leverage, it's perfect. It's really perfect.
It's exactly what they've needed all year long, and it was at the correct time near the trade deadline to go out and get that guy, and they did. So credit to Ross Atkins for that.
Let's get to the bats.
Yeah,
Brandon the Cock Belt.
The Cock. I love that fucking
roasted one, dude. I was watching this and I'm like crushed. As soon as he hit it, I'm like crushed. Just soared over the monster to the opposite field. Just roasted. Little fastball down in the zone.
Yeah.
See ya.
He's got one of the most elite eyes at the plate I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
The fact that he can just sit there and he knows it's like
a vet.
He could get a curveball that looks like it's going to be belt high and then drops off the table and lands in the dirt. And he'll just next one.
Yeah. And then
I'd be swinging down. I'd be Corey Seager down on one knee, fucking trying to get me.
Think of how many times he's seen guys try and get him out with that pitch.
That's true. It's true.
He hit the bomb. Davis Schneider. I mean, good lord, 3 for 3 with a walk. This game was where you really saw his eye. He was not offering at a single pitch that he didn't like.
No,
he was making the pitchers work, and he just looked so comfortable. I don't know how he's doing it, but if you're keeping track at home, that's now 5 for. Where am I here in the thing? 5 for 8 through his first 2 games in the big leagues.
Yeah, 565 batting average.
Yeah, not bad. Paul DeYoung with a single. Kevin first hit as a J, which is long. There you go, Paul. Good for him. Kevin Kiermaier, big RBI single at the top of the 9th. I believe Belt also drove in a run as it was 3-3 after the Devers home run.
Yeah.
Belt had an RBI single, and then Kiermaier with an RBI single to get the Jays up to 5-3.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the 9th, Jack, holy shit. So let's start with the Jays blunder here, because there's a deep fly ball, and I mean deep. And I don't know what the fucking point is of having Kirk on base at that point in the game. Like holy shit, dude. Like that is a deep,
I know.
That is a scoreable ball.
It's a scoreable ball. Yeah.
I still do blame Espinal, because Espinal did get picked off between second and third because he thought that.
Watch your fucking base coach.
Look ahead of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like Kirk, fuck, just send him. Like I don't care. If he's thrown out, I don't care. Just send him, man. You never know.
Yeah.
It was pretty deep. It would probably would have been a close play. Like that just rattled. When I saw him stop, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Yeah, I know. Well, because they couldn't go to Jano because Jano was listed as day-to-day at that point, right?
No, you're right. But
yeah, I mean, I agree, but
that's got to be a sack fly.
It has to be. At least make it close.
I know he's in the 2nd percentile in speed in the league, but send him. Just send them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He should have been sent, but also I agree more that fucking Espinal should have had his head up.
Or if you're not sending him, tell him, Kirk, you stand on this base and you don't even move. You can maybe make a little move to try and get a bad throw coming back in, but don't go halfway and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
No sense. And then Espinal got picked off. But if you thought that was the worst base running blunder, boy, were you wrong. Reese McGuire, is he still being paid by the Jays, Jack? I don't know.
Not after what happened in Arizona, but
this is insane. So there's runners on what? Second and first and second.
Second and first and second. No,
first and second, I think.
Yeah, it was first and second, and McGuire standing on 2.
Yeah, first and second, McGuire's on second. Connor Wong hits what everyone even I was watching it. I'm like, oh no.
Well, part of me was like, that's at least was getting off the wall. I thought at least was going to hit the monster and come down.
I thought it was a tie game at the least. And so did Reese McGuire, because
he thought it was.
I mean, and it's tough for him because he's facing the opposite direction, right? But
no. He went like this, and then he looked up.
He still thought it was going, and the third base coach was also waving his arm. So it's
an amalgamation of dumb mistakes
on the third baseman, but it might be the worst look you could ever have on a base.
Yeah. Did you see Justin Turner leaning over the railing after they lost off? Just
because Kiermaier tracks it down, makes a pretty routine catch of the wall.
Yeah.
And then Reese gets doubled off at second. I mean, if that happened to lose the Jays a game, I wouldn't even go on Twitter, dude. It would be so toxic. But Alex Cora coming out and saying it's one of the worst days he's been a part of the organization. Alex Verdugo mysteriously got scratched from the game. The Red Sox are turning into a tire fire.
Yeah.
The Jays continue to beat them and move further ahead of them in the wild card, in the race for the wild card, which is perfect. Perfect.
Yep.
So wild way to end that one.
Kiermaier, we got to talk about too. When he made that catch, had to get stitches in his elbow.
Oh, that was in game 3. That was in the next game. Yeah, that was in the next game.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. He was in the third game. Sorry, but yeah.
You know how there's like in dead center at Fenway, there's that weird like grate, like it looks like a door, like a garage door.
It is. Yeah.
He ran into that. We're making a nice run and catch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a shame. Yeah.
Checking the game here. It's a
stressful situation. Runners on second and third with a 2-2 count and 2 out. Yeah, 2-2.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Try to focus.
Yeah. Game 3.
Yeah. Well, game 3 was a bit of a laugher. So we don't.
Yeah. Guys, if like, sorry, we're ingesting all Blue Jays all the time. If we're not talking about it, I'm on TikTok.
It's just so funny that we're doing this right now, and they got 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th with 2 on. And
I mean, dude, like,
I know.
Come on, man.
I know it won't take long.
No, Jordan Hicks here. This is not a situation you want to find yourself in. Come on. No, he's throwing sliders in the dirt. Man. Okay, he doesn't have it. That's okay. Okay, yeah. Game 3. Chris Bassett.
It was just a shit pumping, dude.
Yeah, I don't care. Fuck the Red Sox. Give him a shit.
We gotta do Schneider though, because it's insane what he did.
Yeah, it is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
You just turned around with a bad look on your face.
No, he just bounced one. It's a full count.
Okay, I'm ahead of you then. Okay.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
He walked him. Yeah, he walked him.
Okay, fine. Anyways, we got more time here to get through this. So Davis Schneider. The Jays won 13-1. It was an absolute shit pumping. Davis Schneider goes deep yet again.
Davis Schneider, who is 1 for 2 today, and guess what he has done again? He blasts it right on out of Fenway Park. And Davis Schneider has been an unstoppable force here in his first 3 games in the big leagues. 7 for 11 with 2 home runs in the big leagues. I hope when they called him up, he brought the big suitcase with lots of stuff. He's not going back.
Oh, yeah, he's thinking right now the big leagues is way easier than AAA. But his name's officially changed to Babe Schneider.
First and a 2-run shot this time when the game was still kind of close, so it was a big swing. Another fastball right down the middle. I don't know why if these guys don't know about the Babe. You should. You shouldn't throw him pitches there. But he goes 4 for 5, Jack.
Yeah.
In the series finale with 4 RBIs, he becomes the first player in Major League history with 9 hits and 2 home runs in his first 3 Major League games. He ties some guy with a name that doesn't even exist anymore. No one would ever name their kid the Coker Triplet. Jack.
Oh,
nice for the
what was it? 18? What was it? 18?
No, it was like 1930 something. I think.
Yeah, 1930.
It's more recent than you'd think for a name like that.
1930.
Triplet is the territory we're getting in with Davis Schneider. It was his weekend. Yeah, and honestly, the Jays won 13-1. Chris Bassett had a good start, but like I'm cool with literally just talking about Davis Schneider, man.
Yeah, we don't need to talk. Bassett, 7 innings pitched,
great
6
sweep.
Ks. Yeah, great sweep.
End to the week.
Yeah, Brandon Belt, man, 2 walks, 2 for 4 day.
Okay, let me just get an angle here. let me just get an angle here.
Yeah, you do you, man. Yeah.
What's happening, dude?
1 and 2 count.
1 and 2.
Hicks just
bounced. 0 and 2. I saw he had him 0 and 2. I was gonna erupt.
He had him 0 and 2, but then he threw a
that's where I'm at right now.
Slider in the dirt.
He's having trouble locating that. Anyways, Davis Schneider, historic, man. I'm just. Yeah. It must be just the most incredible feeling, grinding through.
Dude, the fact that like
a touted guy.
Yeah, and the fact that this team in that final game, they put up a 4 spot in the first inning or in the second inning, like early on. We haven't seen that all year long. The Jays have not struck first very often. They're usually playing catch up.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see them. It was nice to see them get out in front. But yeah, dude, like Davis Schneider. I mean, like what, like
it was his weekend. Like it's so cool. Dude. I hope he can keep it up, man, because he does fit into this team. He does.
He does culture-wise. He does playability-wise because he literally can play everywhere. He's an ultimate utility guy. But Well, here's the thing.
It won't
Chris.
last. Obviously, this won't last.
No, he's not going to be hitting 500 the whole fucking time he's here. I think tonight he's 0 for 4. But point is that he had the debut to end all debuts for the Jays. That was a strike and Jansen missed it. Oh no, 3-2 or 2-2. Okay.
It was a true like out of nowhere, just the whole baseball world talking about this guy. It was really, 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 really cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
And I can't wait to see him more because he's got a lot of intangibles. He's got a lot of things that he's got a lot to like about him.
Mm-hmm. He does.
So, yeah, Jack, I mean, that was the week that was for the Jays. I know there's something else you want to talk about, but man, it's hard to focus right now.
I know it's stressful, man. It's stressful. Here we go. We're gonna finish off the thoughts with watching this final out. Here we go. Come on, Hicks, do something, please, dude.
You're ahead of me, so just let me know what happened.
I will. You'll probably hear it on your end. Come on.
A little late, but yeah.
DeYoung. Oh, you got him safe. Out. No, out.
What just happened?
Oh my god, dude, that was so weird. Okay.
Let me see. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, you'll see what I'm saying. Yeah, that was the weirdest ending not weirdest ending, but that was a weird fucking ending. See what I mean? He called safe, umpire called out. Vladdy I don't know if he got pulled off. That was a weird fucking out.
I think Vladdy kept the toe on it.
So do I. And yeah, They have to have sufficient evidence overturn.
Okay.
As of right now, they haven't challenged. Hang on, I don't know if they're gonna hold on.
I mean, they might just cause like you kind of have to. Like you might as well. If not, the game's over.
I'm watching it.
They probably will.
Oh yeah, he's out. He kept his foot on the bag.
All right, then we're good.
Yeah. It looks like it.
So there you go. That's your first live reaction to an end of a Jays game here, guys. Sorry, it's not even the week we're talking about, but we'll talk about it more next week.
No.
For the guards, Jack, go into it. Fight night.
No. I want to talk a bit more about Davis Schneider because I want to talk about what the Jays are going to do.
Right.
Curious, because if this guy stays hot in that he can play everywhere, he hits well, like we have now essentially 4 outfielders.
Yep.
Well, actually kind of 5 because Biggio can also play the corners. So,
right.
Chris, who's the odd man out on the bench? Because we have Paul DeYoung, and when Bo comes back, Bo's getting back at shortstop. DeYoung talked about him playing second base when Bo comes back.
I mean, you can kind of platoon Schneider, DeYoung, and
do you send down? But then who gets DFA?
Espinal has options.
Okay, he has options.
That's the most logical one.
I think you DFA Espinal, and then
but it's good because the Jays had this random 26 man on their roster all year that they haven't been utilizing, and it just makes no sense to me. Like at least you have a guy now that can truly provide.
Yeah, the fact that it was Nathan Lucas for that long made no sense to me.
Ernie Clement, Jordan Luplow, it's not even that they weren't good. It's just they weren't playing. And you see a guy like Davis Schneider come up here and make such an impact and do some great things for this team. He's earning playing time. And I think having him in the 26-man spot is best case scenario. It's a guy that can do something.
Yeah.
And has proven it up to this point. Obviously it's the smallest sample size you can have, but yeah, I think DeYoung's on the bench. I think Schneider's probably at second or in left. So then you play second or left, and Varsho can come in. You can put Schneider or Merrifield on the bench. There's a ton of flexibility.
I'd argue you start because then again, like Varsho or Kiermaier will have to ride the pine.
Yeah,
there's no room for them.
Yeah, and you can you can kind of platoon Witt and Varsho if there's a good matchup that you like for Varsho against a righty. I mean, Witt's been hitting incredibly, especially again with contact. Like he's probably the best contact hitter on the Jays. So I think you want him in the lineup 90% of the games. But if he needs a day off his feet, you got Varsho out and left. You can put Schneider out and left. There's good flexibility here. But yeah, I think DeYoung and Schneider are gonna kind of split time.
Or do you see? Here's another thing the Jays could do because they could also send Schneider back down to AAA because depending on his service time, I think it's like as long as he doesn't exceed 85 or something at bats. Yeah. And his first time being called up, his rookie eligibility is carried on to next year, and then it's then going to be like 6 years of control instead of 5.
But I don't think Davis Schneider is going to be looking for a massive free agent contract or anything. I don't think service time's a big deal with them.
No, and also
I do see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying in that.
But we know that
I think we just kind of have to see how it goes without Bo for a bit, and then we'll get a better sense of who's hot, who's playing well, and kind of who's gonna fall or not fall, but who's gonna kind of get moved to the bench and who might get sent down. Because as of right now, send Espinal down. David Schneider did more than Espinal done all season in a weekend. So
that's a good point.
As of right now, recency bias might be, but I'm cool with Espinal being down and David Schneider being up.
Yeah. And then I'm good with that. So, but I want to move on to what happened, the biggest thing that happened in Major League Baseball this week.
Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson.
Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson.
Was it Tom Hamilton or something from Cleveland's radio broadcast? Dude. So before this series against the Guardians were playing the White Sox, and these are two teams in their division together that do not like each other.
Play a lot.
They play a lot. And for those of you that didn't see it, you probably did. But J-Ram, Jose Ramirez, hits a double to right, slides into second, and he didn't think that Anderson gave him a path to slide and kind of like felt like he got stiff-armed a little bit. So
and he kind of like just stayed standing over him for a bit too, so Jose couldn't get up.
Yeah. And then Jose started saying, I'm not a lip reader, but it's probably something along the lines of, fuck you, why are you doing this?
Yeah, you've been disrespecting us all season, all series.
Yeah. And then Tim Anderson decided to,
just square up.
Just one of these,
yeah, they're ready.
And then he got
on site. Well, here's the thing. Here's my thing about this scuffle.
He got slapped.
Here's my thing about this scuffle, and it was an incredible moment. It was electric. It was just the best. Baseball needs more of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's the hockey fan in me speaking, but seeing two guys square up like that and just the heat of the moment is pretty incredible. But my thing about this is either one of these guys could have got dropped like that. Like they were not swinging very strategically.
Well, I mean, they
were just throwing the wildest. Like Tim Anderson literally put his jaw into Jose Ramirez's fist. Like Jose Ramirez, I don't even think was looking when he threw that punch.
No, because he had Michael Kopech grabbing him by the head.
These guys don't fight. These guys have never fought. This is not part of baseball. And they were both just swinging wildly, and just one of them happened to get lucky and connect. Like it could have easily been Anderson connecting with Ramirez like that, because they were just throwing wild punches. But it was incredible how it went down, with literally Ramirez landing a clean hook to the chin of Anderson, and Anderson like stumbling back, and like, oh my God, it was incredible. It was incredible. It was great. I mean, it's not good to see guys fighting, but like it's exciting. And it's funny that like there was like a big fight night with like UFC and Jake Paul fighting, and the best fight was from a damn baseball game.
Yeah, I mean, fuck that. Yeah, I don't want to give Jake Paul any more airtime than he has. I can't fucking stand that.
It's just funny that there was it's like a big Saturday night of fights, and the best one came out of a
baseball game,
Central game.
Yeah.
And the suspensions got handed down. Jose Ramirez did play against the Jays tonight, didn't do much because he's appealing his 3-game suspension that he got. Anderson actually got a lot more. So MLB must have been informed of something that happened that would warrant him getting a 7-game suspension for getting knocked out.
Wasn't it 6 and 3?
6 or 7, something.
Yeah, but again, Chris,
right.
Chris, the guy took his glove off and squared up. J-Ram was just getting in his face and doing a pushing match. So Anderson initiated the contact. It's not his fault. He has a chin of a fucking, like he's got like a fucking glass chin. Yeah,
and then the memes come out and everything. That radio call comes out. It was just, it was quite the moment for.
And my favorite thing is that
it's kind of quite the moment for baseball.
My favorite thing is that Tim Anderson didn't take the L gracefully. He's like still like tweeting about it. I'm like, dude, you got slept. Move on. Just
did you hear about the story today about the White Sox and Tim Anderson and Yasmani Grandal?
No, what happened?
So apparently Yasmani Grandal, and this is where we'll end it. A little story time.
Story time.
So the day before the All-Star break, Yasmani Grandal had the day off. He wasn't playing.
Yeah.
And he wanted to leave. He wanted to start his vacation early. He wanted to, get out of there, which I don't I don't think that's cool at all. That's very unprofessional in my opinion.
You have an obligation to your team.
And Tim Anderson felt the same way as I do. And he said, like, if they want to leave, like, if anyone wants to leave, fuck them. Like, I'll pay for their flights. Like, if you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. Singling out Grandal for this. And then I guess Grandal heard that Anderson was saying that stuff and came and found him in, like, the training room in a cold tub and slapped him.
Oh.
Yeah. So Anderson's been hit a couple times, once by a teammate and once by an opponent. And I used to like Anderson a lot, man. I used to think he was pretty sick. He used to be a very swaggy player with a lot of confidence. He'd always crush the outside fastball and go deep to right field. That walk-off in the Field of Dreams games, like, it's sad, man. It's sad to see a fall from grace like this because basically just the White Sox just suck the life out of him.
I don't know if it's the White Sox sucking the life out of him or it's a guy who's been cocky and brash his whole life and got away with it because of his skill in baseball. But
field issues and stuff like that too. But as a baseball player, I always thought he was quite fun.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. He's talented as a baseball player. Don't get me wrong. But you know what the thing is about growing up in a small town in Alabama is that you're the best athlete at your school. Now you're not even the best athlete on your own team. So that for him, probably, I'm speculating, but I've seen a million dudes like this growing up. We both played sports. We both know the guys that we grew up with who are like this. And then they turn into, like, they don't know how to have any humility. Mm-hmm. So they just think that they're the shit all the time. And then they run into someone who's bigger, stronger,
they get humbled faster. And they can't handle it.
Exactly. They've never faced adversity as far as being
about
humbled.
It 50 times.
Yeah, in a row. And they create a thread that no one gives a shit about. They just screenshot it and turn it into a meme.
Yeah.
So, Tim, go to anger management class.
Come back stronger, dude.
Yeah.
You'll end up on a contender and you'll ball out.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it.
You're 5.
This isn't the end of Tim.
You're 5'10", $175. Don't go picking fights. Just don't do it.
But Jack, this was great, man. I'm liking that we don't have the time limit anymore. We can go longer and just kind of relax.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah.
Talk naturally. We're not up against the gun.
Yeah, watch the game while we're doing the podcast.
Yeah, no, we can do that. We can afford to do that. Take a bit of time and just react, and then
we can. I'm thinking maybe we should start doing live watches. Or something.
I would do that. I would love to do that. I would love to do that if I'm off. It's just tough sometimes with work.
Well, hey, buddy, Kat and I move in together in 3 weeks in Toronto. So we're gonna be a lot closer to you now.
Dude, if you ever want to do it solo. Feel free, man. Feel free.
All right. Well, I'll take you up on that offer. But but if we get like maybe a watch party going, get a camera or something, or set up the laptop, whatever.
Hopefully for like playoffs and stuff down the stretch, we can do a couple of them.
Yeah, I know for a fact that we could somehow get our hands on a camera one way or another. So
absolutely, buddy. Yeah. We'll figure it out. All right, guys. But for now, we're just gonna give you the weekly updates and everything you guys need to know about the Toronto Blue Jays, our opinions, our takes. And a little fun just mixed in every now and then as well. So, Chris May, Jack Ryan, as always, with you guys for this edition of the Blue Jay Way podcast. Jays, as you guys have heard throughout this episode, off to a good start for the week that we will be recapping next week, beating Cleveland Guardians tonight on Monday. So, we'll give a full series breakdown of that and the Cubs next week. And we thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe on YouTube, leave any comments if you guys have anything you want us to touch on. We're not getting many comments, so if you leave one, we'll see it.
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
Definitely make sure to address it. 100%. If you guys leave a comment, we'll address it. But we're not doing it for comments. We're doing it for fun, Jack, so it doesn't really matter. But feel free to reach out, guys, and leave any notes you have for us and anything you want us to touch on. We'd be more than happy to do it.
Yeah. All right, folks. Take care, everybody.
All right, take it easy, folks. See you guys.